Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
This is Grace-Allison, your host, and I have the privilege of interviewing stephen-d-dunn. Stephen began writing poetry after a successful career as both a business owner and a noted designer. Since 2012, Stephen has written close to 1,800 poetry compositions, which cover everything from spirituality to bad breath. Let's welcome Stephen-d-Dunn. How are you, Stephen? Good evening.
Good evening, Grace. I'm fantastic. How are you, my dear?
So tell us, how did you get into writing poetry?
Well, Grace, it was really interesting. I jokingly call myself an introvert most of my life. And so I don't know, I started writing poetry and rhymes in 2012. And it was a way of expressing myself, which I don't feel I had truly ever done. So it just all came spilling out of me like this flood to have this venue that I could share with others about what I was thinking or feeling.
So there's a book called A Little Boy from Nowhere, Texas. And that is a sweet little boy and quite a book of poetry. Tell us how you got to write that book.
Well, that book is very autobiographical. It's inspired by my growing up in the era when I did, into the 50s and 60s. It was quite a challenge to reach puberty at 11 or 12 and find out that you were different than the rest of the world, and the rest of the world wasn't too kind about having you in their presence. So
what made you different? What made you different?
Well, because I was gay, and I became very aware of it, of course, at that point in my life. Before that, I was just like any other little boy and had lots of friends and had a good time. But that changed my life when that came about. And so I reflect on that and also my relationship with my parents in this book.
Yeah, the story covers how you really felt about being a little boy from Nowhere, Texas. Long repressed, a study within, keeping it quiet for fear of a sin. Desperate to blend, sacrificing needs, anxious to please, a mute indeed. These are very touching feelings. And what made you go on to write 1,800 poetry compositions in the last little while? I mean, heavenly days. You write one a day?
I do write one a day. Normally, I do. I don't go a day without writing a poem. Sometimes two, as I told you, I wrote two this morning. But they're just, I don't know whether it's become a game or challenge to me, but it's like anything that is impactful to me during a day, and it can be anything as simple as a butterfly or somebody that's in pain and shares it with me, and so then I'm inspired to write about it. And I just feel like that's my best way of getting my feelings out there.
That's really amazing. Now, there's several books that you've written. One called Will the Real Stephen-d-Dunn Please Come Forward? Now, what's that about?
Well, it's along the same lines. I never felt like I was truly being myself. I felt like I was defensive a lot of my life. A lot of that was around I'm going to get you before you get me. And so this was what my poetry is about, is, for the real Stephen-d-Dunn, for you to understand who he really is and what he feels. So that's where I came up with that title.
And what about Animals, Anonymous, An Addiction to Love.
Well,
I understand you love animals. You love dogs?
Oh, I do. I love animals. I currently have two little dogs, two little Yorkies, who I worship and adore. And I've had numerous other dogs before this. Early in my life, I was not much of a dog person, but now I've turned into like a blithering idiot over dogs. And I'm very soft-hearted about animals. It's just there's a special place in my heart for animals.
And so Animals Anonymous. That's so you want, because you're so addicted to animals, we should have a group called Animals Anonymous.
Oh, I think so.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, there's I don't know, each of those little creatures are, their life. And I don't know, it just, like I say, it touches me whenever, I can come to tears on the road when I see a squirrel that's run over. In fact, I've written a poem that's called Honking at Squirrels. So.
Well, let's talk about your upcoming book, A Day in the Life of a Raindrop. How did you come to write that?
Well, I had a wonderful, wonderful friend who I lost a couple of years ago, and her tagline on her emails was a quote from Tagore, which I believe was a French philosopher, and that quote was, "The butterfly counts the moments, not the months, and has time enough." So one day I was just sitting in my living room, and it was raining, and I was looking at the raindrops, and I thought a similar comparison, that here's this little drop of rain, and it only has from heaven to earth to have its total existence. So I just kind of wrote it as a parable about that.
And this book is coming out soon, isn't it? Like in the next few weeks? Yes,
very, very, very soon, yes. And it's a full-color children's book, which, as I told you, can also be appeal to adults.
Yeah. Could you read a little bit from it so we can get a sense of what the book's about?
Yeah. I sure can.
And you said that Rumi inspired you to write this because Rumi has a poem, A Butterfly Has One Day to Live. So you wrote this because Rumi's poem on butterflies. Is that right?
Yes. So
okay.
Let me just read you the first here. It says, "If I were a raindrop, where would I fall? Would it be on a daffodil, a cat, or a wall? Would I sputter and spatter all over the place? Or would I just slightly dampen the whole human race? Or would I dribble and crash and really not care, absolutely oblivious that anyone's there?"
That is really
Would I
touching.
slide down?
Keep going.
Would I slide down life's gutter with gleeful ease and give a little sip to the hippo, the rhino, and the cats from Burmese? A short life granted, filled with such wonder, one so important it makes one ponder. Had I not made it, then the world as we know would no longer be here. Trees grow from heaven to earth, just as God planned, nothing to do with the desires of man. So open your mouth and stick out your tongue and soften my fall as earthward I come. So if someone asks you, how was your trip? What will you answer? Or will you give a flip? You had a lifetime. I've had a day to cherish the adventure in each and every way.
That is touching. That is very, very sweet.
Thank you.
Now, I understand you give poetry readings. You have poetry events. Is that right?
I do. Grace. I've had 6 of those, and I usually read about 20 poems. It was interesting when I started the whole thing. Somebody, my partner, said, "Stephen, nobody's going to listen to 20 poems in one sitting." So we intersperse the poems with. I have a lot of friends in theater, so we have wonderful, wonderful singers in our life, and so we have also a pianist from the church, and he plays, and they sing songs that are appropriate to the poems that I've just read during the event.
Oh, that sounds like a really nice experience. Where do you hold these events?
We hold them at Unity Church of Dallas. I'm actually on the board there. And so, yeah, we have them at that facility.
And so when's your next event?
December 2nd, which is a Sunday, and usually we have them at about 6 in the evening.
Well, that sounds like a fun experience. Tell us a little bit more about why poetry matters so much to you.
Well, like I said, it's a means of me communicating the deepest part of me. And what I found out, even though I was a pretty mediocre English student, it resonates with me, and it seems to come easy for me. And, of course, the more I've written, the easier it becomes. In fact, I find sometimes I'm rhyming in my head all through the day, which I have gotten to where I now write down notes so that I do remember my thoughts and can later compose them into a poem.
Well, we're going to take a break right now and come back and talk more with Stephen-d-Dunn and more about his poems. And we're going to have the poem of the day in our next segment.
Headlines. Cryptocurrency vultures are circling around failing governments. Darknet predators are rushing to market with their newest digital product. They promise economic salvation, even as they coupon clips straight from your digital wallet. The newest techno-thriller installment from Breakfield and Berkey, The Enigma Source. Book 10 of the Enigma series continues the combat of cyber good guys versus cyber thugs set in today's digital landscape. A new online bookstore, indielector.store, is unlike any other. indielector.store offers great prices from top indie authors and supports authors at the same time by paying them more for their books. indielector.store has a readers club that gives you free books and special deals. Watch the indielector.store continue to grow before it opens in the fall of 2019 at indielector.store.
Howdy, I'm John Cruder, the Midnight Marauder. I guess you might say that I'm a vigilante who rights the wrongs I see along my many travels to balance the scales of justice, especially those of the corrupt and murderous members of the Town Council of Bandera, Texas. You can follow my many adventures in a series of Midnight Marauder books written by Roy Clinton on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com. Or, if you prefer, listen to my adventures in audiobook form by downloading them from Audible.com or iTunes. This is R. William James, the voice of the Midnight Marauder.
Do you love to read great new ebooks? Visit EBG247.com. Be the first to discover the next bestseller. At EBG247, we have the web's largest selection of great new book reads, from that amazing new fiction or nonfiction to horror, romance, and fantasy. We even have today's best children's books. That's EBG247.com. New books arrive daily, and all ebooks start at just 99 cents. If you love to read, then you'll love EBG247.com. Low prices, large selection, and an easy-to-use website. It's all only at EBG247.com.
Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
This is Grace-Allison, your host, and we are back with Stephen Dangerfield-Dunn. Now, Stephen, I want you to give people your contact information where they can find you, where they can go to the poetry events. What is your Facebook and other contact information so people can find you?
My Facebook page is Outing Mr. Dunn. Or you can go to outingmrdunn.com also, and you will
see.
That's
D-U-N-N, right? That's D-U-N-N?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, I do a poetry send out on Mondays and Fridays currently, and if you're interested in that, you can send me an email at Dunn, D-U-N-N, the number 7, R-I-T-E, at sbcglobal.net, and I can put you on that list, which currently we're doing for free, and however we're looking at subscription basis pretty soon.
And on Amazon, where can they find you on Amazon so they can buy your books?
You just go to Amazon and put in Stephen Dangerfield with an I, Daingerfield, Dunn. If you don't put in the Dangerfield, you're going to come up with a very, very famous poet named Stephen Dunn, whose name is spelled exactly the same. So, and then you'll find my the current 7 books that I have published right now, and I have 3 more that are getting ready to be published, as well as the children's book.
What other books are coming out?
There's one called The Irreverent Side of Reverend Dunn that's coming out, and gosh, I can't even remember the names of others. I've composed them so long ago. I can't remember those right now.
Okay, no worries. Now, I understand one of your missions is to help young people.
Yes, I have, and I don't say this in an egotistical way, but I have been quite successful in my life, and there just comes to, a point in your life where you think, you want somebody else to have what you had. And it's very important to me, especially in this day's world with so much suicide, that I could possibly reach a teenager or a young person, and let them know that there's hope and that they can really be something with their life if they make that choice.
And you feel your poetry can reach out to them and help them you can make a difference with what you're doing.
I do, Grace. I do. It's been really touching to me, the emotional things that have happened during my readings and after my readings, and how people express how touched they were by certain parts of it. And also on my poetry send out, people respond and tell me that, they were having a bad day and it changed their whole day. And so that's where I think I excel, is writing words that touch people on a different level, a deeper level. And so that's my goal. And they don't have to be children. I mean, it can be anybody. It can be somebody 30 or 40 or 50.
I understand. And also, because of how you grew up in a small town in Texas where you felt different because you were gay, how did that impact your life in terms of your goals? Would you have done anything differently had you not had that experience? Or did it make you a better person?
It's interesting, Grace. It's interesting. I spent a lot of my life resenting that. And what I've learned at this point in my life is I wouldn't be the person I am today if it were not for those challenges that I had as a young person. I would not have dreamed these goals that seemed impossible and that I made happen. It's just, So I think I even related to you. There was a time when I blamed the kids that I went to high school with. We practically went from the 1st to the 12th grade together, when in fact they were very kind and nice to me. I was never abused in any way. It was more society. I guess in that time everybody just chose to not talk about it. So, yeah.
Well, I think this is a good time where we can introduce your poem of the day, the poem To Make a Difference. I think this is a good time for you to share that.
Okay. The poem's called True to the Real You. Never allow society to steal your precious dreams, for nothing is ever truly as bad as it may seem. Trust me, I have been there and felt some of your pain, a place of such loneliness that is difficult to explain. Deserted and abandoned, facing life on your own, a situation that changes you from the heart to the bone. But consider this an opportunity to prove your courage and brawn, knowing within your heart you can do no wrong. Prove it to the universe how amazing you can be by giving a glimpse of your true depth for the whole world to see. God gave us this life, a gift unlike any other, ours to uncover that human, no matter your fears or druthers. So what if you don't match that person next door? Better to chase your ideal dream and be lovingly adored. You say that may be easy for me to do and say, but trust there was a time I never thought I would see this day. I believe in you. Can you do the same? Show the whole damn planet you can win at this game. Be that rare gem that you came here to be. Do it with brilliance for everyone to see. You are the maker of all of your dreams, a job that truly may not be as hard as it might seem.
Wow, that's really inspiring. I really love that. And did you send that out today to all your people?
I did not. No, I haven't sent it out yet. I thought I would keep it a secret until today.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can let the secret out because it's beautiful. It really, to me, I understand challenge and really taking a look at who you are and facing the challenges. And these are the lessons that we have in our lives. And that poem expressed that so well.
Thank you, Grace.
I understand you have. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the other thing about much of my poetry is it doesn't have to be addressed to a gay person. It can be addressed to anybody that has those same issues or those same feelings.
Yeah, we all have a vulnerable place inside of us that's hard for us to show or to express because we feel we might be judged in some way or other, and how people will see us if we show them that part of us that we are embarrassed about.
Exactly.
And we just have to show it. And
yes. Be proud of it.
And be proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're also doing plays, I understand. In addition to your poetry, you also do plays.
Well, I've participated in the last 5 years. I participated in the Spectacular Follies out at the Eisman here in Dallas. Singing and dancing, along with all of my other careers.
That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
How many people do you want to reach with your work? How many people do you think would really be what you want to embrace in terms of your reach? Is it globally? Is it locally? How many people do you want?
Oh, Grace, I would like to do it globally. I'd like for millions of people. I think everybody, I hope could benefit from what I have to say. And like I say, if it gives them a hope, if it gives them a challenge, or if it gives them a reason to start their day differently, then it's worth everything to me. That's what's important to me. Like I say, at this point in my life, I'd rather see how I can impact others in a positive way.
So how do you see this little boy from nowhere, Texas, today?
Well, like I said, without being egotistical, I'm quite proud of him. He has achieved a lot of things during his life, and that it's very interesting, Grace, that after I've had several careers. So at this point in my life, to have start yet another career is really quite interesting.
Is there another book in motion for the Stephen-D-Dunn? And I understand you're going to be changing your moniker to Dangerfield-Dunn.
Well, yes, I am. I had at a meeting today. We discussed that, and I told them that you thought that was a good idea, and I totally agree. And so that's probably going to happen imminently. I think it'll be, like I say, I won't get mixed up with the other gentleman, and I like it. I like the sound of it.
I do too. I mean, Dangerfield-Dunn. I mean, DD. There's just so many things you could do with that. I really think that you're going into a new direction. It's very exciting, and we want to help you any way we can.
Great.
So tell us about. We got about a minute or so left, and I saw this one book called "A Piece of My Heart," and that touched me. Is that more about you and expressing your heart?
Yes. It just seems like I can't delve deep enough into that. And that was the follow-up to the Little Boy from Nowhere, Texas book. It was just more stuff that I needed to share about what that was like, and what my parents were like. So, yeah, I wrote that book at that time.
Well, are there any other comments that you'd like to make at this time? Because we're coming to a close of our session today, our interview. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
I just want that message. I want my message. I want anybody to get a message that, you know, they can change their life. They can, at any time in their life, if they make that choice and believe in themselves and know that they are not the only person in the world. And so if I saved one life, Grace, it would be worth every one of those 1,800 poems that I've written.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I want to say thank you for being with us tonight, and we'll say goodnight to Stephen Dangerfield-Dunn, soon to be Dangerfield-Dunn.
Thank you, Grace. It's been a pleasure.
Hello, Texas authors. My name is Randy James, coming to you from my Carrollton recording studio, where I spend time writing and producing commercials for my radio endorsement clients, as well as my private freelance clients. I'd like the opportunity to help you sell more books with a commercial like this and get listeners of Dear Texas Radio excited about your title, all at a special introductory price, available to members of the Texas Association of Authors. Call or text 214-762-1942. That's 214-762-1942. Love to read? Love to meet authors in person? Then check out bookfestival.network to find a book festival in your region of Texas. We are adding book festival events throughout the year, so sign up to get notices and even a coupon towards purchase of a Texas author's book. Sign up at bookfestival.network.
Have you ever thought what you would do if you had to put your life on hold to parent your parents? Charlotte Cannon has lived the journey caring for 3 parents with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. Her book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents, is a survival guide for adult children caring for aging seniors. Her book is available at books.txauthors.com, Amazon, or your favorite bookstore.